I'm going to record the homework number 7, the question number 4. And this is a lengthy question. Although this question is, I think, in my opinion, it's easy, but it's lengthy. Let me go through this because in the classroom we have a whole lot of things to cover, and some people may lose some minor details, but that's all right. So basically, this is a product mix problem, and we need to find out the solution to make some decisions on the product mix. So basically, we have all the products. You notice the first letter of these products are alphabetical. So from A to P. I really don't care about the letters. I mean the numbers afterwards. But this is A, B, C. So that's some sort of identity. And then what happens next is we try to find. First of all, the question is, so we're trying to maximize the overall profit. So look at the last column. This is the contribution to the profit by units. So look at this. So it's 18.79 XA, right? So that means 6.31 XB and all the way. So let's talk about XK. So what is the XK? So the XK will be right here. So it's 17.91. Okay, and XL will simply be 49.99, and XM will be 24, XN will be 88.88, and 77.01. So we should be able to. Okay, so check it. Yeah, definitely good. All right, so now then we need to find out what's going on here, because these are the alloy, okay, steel alloy, and so their usage about the steel alloy. So how many we get? We get 980, and these are the steel alloy usage. So we just want to make sure that all the steel alloy usage, let's say for example, we're not using it in A, but in B we use 4 pounds, okay? So it's 4 XB. So that's the consumption. So what happens is we need to choose less than or equal to 980. All right. So this is what we get. All right. So, and the second one will simply be that we're talking about plastics. So again, that's a plastics. In plastics, we have 400 units. All right. So then this one should be less than 400 units. So we can keep on moving all the things and go all the way down. So XM, XN, and MP. So for all these things, we should be able to input it and also read the problem. It says here we can have look here M, N, and P. All right, so if you look at the number right here, it's M, N, and P. And here is a minimum requirement by U.S. regulations, maybe the government regulations. So this is 20, this is 10, and this 10. So what happens is, let me put it in. So this should be less than equal to, must be less than equal to. The third one is what? Wood, right? Is wood. So what's the availability of the wood? 600, okay, 600. And then the next one is less than or equal to 2,500. Okay, so this is alum. Okay, and next one is 1,800 and 1,000. So just keep on going. So this is 1,800 and 1,000. The last one is 1,000. So the last one is labor. Okay, we're not done yet because XM need to be greater than equal to 20. And XN will be greater equal to 10. And XP will be greater equal to 10. So these are just modeling issues. So look, this is coming from the number here. Okay, 20, 10, and 10. Okay, so these are just modeling issues. I'm pretty sure we should be able to find the correct answer. Okay. All right, so now next is pretty much challenging, and we can find out what is the data concerning the product. Let's look at this. So first of all, we click this button and we can find out. And if we look at the optimal volume, and we can clearly find out that the model suggests we produce zero units of XA. So that means, the A product is over. So that means A158, it should be over. It's not, we are not going to produce anything there. Okay. Make sense? All right, so very good. Next one. So they're saying clearly, please explain the meaning of the shadow price. Since the shadow price, R0, what that means. So look at this. So the shadow price, as I told you in the classroom, the shadow price is only applied to the constraints. So let's click on constraints. Let's look at the shadow price. All right. Let's look at this. So basically, they're saying C2, C5, C6. So C2, C5, and C6. All these numbers. See, look at this column. It's called the shadow price. The shadow price is 0. Now, in the class, I told you, if the shadow price is 0, that means the corresponding resource are redundant. So we have a lot of resources. We do not use all the things up. So that means if a salesman try to sell you some extra amount of the resource on that category, on that specific resource, what are you going to say? You say, no, because I have plenty already. I thank you very much. All right, so now look at this. So basically what that means is they're asking you R0, which means they are non-bonding, because if the bonding means we're using all the resource we have, but non-bonding means, come on, we have plenty, so it's non-bonding. Okay, so now let's look at this. So the shadow price is 271, which means the benefit of the right-hand side of 1 unit will be increasing. If you increase 1 unit, it's increasing by, it's increasing. Okay, so all right, so one more. So the shadow price, this is 20, whatever. So it's increasing. Yeah, similar thing. Oh, absolutely. Oh, how did I make it wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's look at this. Oh, that's a minus. Come on. You tell me this is 29. Come on. It's not 29. All right, so come on. Look at this. It's not 29. It's a minus 29. I mean, yeah. So it should be, decreasing. Just make sure you do not make mistakes just like I did. All right, so the reason is they presented a 2994. That's kind of deceptive because because look at this number, it's a minus. So minus, that means if you increase one number on C19, the overall cost will be minusing. Okay, will be minus that. All right. So next one. So the labor, the people say, hey, I'm going to give you an offer that say I'm going to ask you to pay for $50 per hour in holiday savings. So what do you say? So if you look at the labor, I think labor is C6, right? C6, look at the shadow price is 0. So what does that mean? That means we have plenty labor to get the job done. So then the people ask you, how many hours? I say 0 because, yeah, sure, I got plenty. Thank you very much, but I don't need it. All right, so the next one will be 2 tons of steel alloy are available from overstock supplier at total cost of this much. Now it turned out to be should, because look, this is a 2 tons of steel alloy is available for $8,000, and for 1 metric ton is 2,200 pounds. And you can calculate the unit cost per pound, and compare the unit cost per pound with the steel alloy's shadow price. I'm pretty sure you know what to do. Okay, so it should be purchased. Okay, so then if 44 I purchase, that will be increased by how much? Okay, so now this is tricky. Okay, this is tricky because look at this. So far, what do we get? What we get 980. Okay, 980. Now if I add 44 pounds to 980, it's just the upper limits and 1024. So which is okay. All right, so which is okay. So that means the new number still stay in the range. So if you buy 44, what's the number? We can find it out. Okay, so for each piece we can make 2.7118, something like that, and then times 44 pounds, and we should be making $119 extra. So it's 100. Let me see what else. is that 119? Just 119.31. Okay, just okay, we should be able to find the correct answer. So that's pretty much we get. Oh, there are so many questions. Okay, so the accountant just discovered an error, made a distribution in the, let's close this. They say, look, I mean, yeah, they just say, oh, I'm sorry, look at our original data. The accountants say, oh, I'm sorry, the contribution per unit for the end product is not actually 88.88 cents, it's actually 8.88. So I made a mistake, I'm sorry, so what should we do? So that means if that ever happens, so I'm going to fix this number because the objective function is wrong and we need to fix that. So the answer for this question is I'm going to fix the objective function. Okay, so and then afterwards, what do we get? So the new objective function will be, I think it's pretty easy because that's the only thing we change. Okay, so starting from 49.99 in L. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 49.99. It's 17.91 and 49.99. And what else? XM is 24. And this one is 8.88. That's a new number. It's not 88 anymore. It's 8.88. And then the last number will be what? Will be here 77.01. Okay, that's what we get. So I'm pretty sure we get a correct answer. And then what happens next is now the management is considering abandon these 5 lines. That means, hey, I don't need these 5. Okay, so previously, let's look at the number. Okay, let's look at the number. So previously for these lines, you see XB must be at least a 20, XC must be at least a 10, and then 10 and 10. So if all these constraints or requirements in place, you cannot abandon these products. But so far, people say, hey, I'm done with it. I really don't like the the 5 product line. Okay, the number from A to E. All right. So what happens is if there's no minimum, there will be no minimum. Okay. So what's gonna happen? Now, what's gonna happen is it's just greater than 0, right? Greater equal to 0. Greater, oh come on, greater equal to 0. Greater equal to 0 and greater equal to 0. Now, I mean, consider the abandonment of these lines. So here's the deal. Now, we have to be careful on A, B, C, D, E. I mean, we cannot set them directly equal to 0 because that basically we're dictating the model what should we do. It may be the model will find a certain amount of production, X, B, or D, or E make new profit for the company, so we cannot rule out such a possibility. So what happens is we just said it's greater or equal to 0. Now if the model say, hey, I'm done with it, then we're done with it. But if the model say, you can still probably working on it, and then so we just say leave the door open, so we have all these things greater or equal to rather than strictly equal to. Okay, don't make it a strike or equal to. But you have to be careful on C12 because the C12 they doesn't, the administration doesn't tell you, the management doesn't tell you, hey, you need to get rid of the F, so the F's requirements is still there. All right, so F's requirement about 20 is still there. So we just leave it as it is. So that's all for the questions. The homework 7, question 4. Now, if you get further questions, you please see me. Okay, thank you.